Hello. Sorry if my voice is a little weird. I just coughed a bunch and I can speak now, but like I'm like we're getting it back still, you know what I mean? No, I'm not sick. I just coughed a bunch and now I'm like you know, as I talk it'll go back to normal. But how are we doing? How are we doing? No, it's not the Rona. It's not the Rona. I don't get sick because I don't go outside. That's the strat. I just don't go out. Yeah, it's Monday. It's Mafia Monday. Well, it's gonna be Mafia Day like every day. Um, but yeah, we got a bunch that we're gonna be doing with this week with trying to get through Mafia. I also have something that we are posting. I scheduled it. It's gonna happen 7 p.m. Eastern on my Twitter. Okay, 7 p.m. Eastern on my Twitter. We have a scheduled post, so if you see it, remind me of it because I'm going to be playing a video game and I'm going to forget in that moment. I'm not going to remember until after stream. I'll be like, oh yeah, it's time for that. So just say it if you see it, and then I'll talk about it. I just I just know myself. Like I do not keep track of time when I stream. I just don't. I lock in, you know. But 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's what 3.5 hours from now. Also, congrats on your job. You said you just arrived home from your first job day. Let's go. Let's go. So I appreciate the hard work and writing you do. Thank you. Gambino. Thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate it. I forgot we had the Mondays emote. I forgot we had that. Anyway, yeah, W job, W job. It's your first job waiting for months after you got your degree? Good, good, good. It takes a while, but once it happens, it starts rolling from there. It's always hardest getting like the first 2 jobs. And then after that, you know, depending on the field you're in, but after that, once you have a resume saying, yes, I've done this shit before, like for real, IRL, real life, actual job, then it's a lot easier. So, was Garfield ever funny or was it always a meme? I never found Garfield that funny. I would read the Sunday paper every Sunday and they would have. Did you guys ever call them the funnies? Is that like an old term? You ever call them the funnies? They had the comics in the back, the comic strips. And you did, right? Okay, yeah, yeah. So I go be like, okay, let's look at the funnies, and I would go, and a lot of them weren't funny. They just weren't. I don't know what papers you read. We had all the classics. We had like Dilbert. Dilbert was okay sometimes. Other times, that shit was funny as fuck. Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes was always my favorite. Doonesbury, yeah. Yeah, Dilbert had some that was good. Your favorite was Zitz? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Zitz had the best writing, I felt. And I liked the art too. The art in it. I felt like stylistically like it did a really good job at telling the story where some others they just draw them static with a speech bubble and it just felt like it wasn't very dynamic. But yeah, this was so good. Only really read Boondocks. Boondocks always was the best one. Does this have a dog and cat as main character? No, no, it was they had a orange cat that would show up occasionally, but they had the blonde guy, like the younger guy, they had his mom. the black hair. She always just looked like an Italian woman to me. Yeah, it was about a frumpy teenager. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Dilbert Arthur went off as rocker after he retired. I don't care. I'm going to look back at the years of the content and not care about the author because I never once read Dilbert and thought about the author. I was never it was never once part of it for me. Like the art was separate from the artist in that case. Always. So I don't care what people do. There will be times where an artist is not separate from their art and it makes it harder to enjoy a thing. But there are other times where, like, if I, for decades, enjoyed this thing, not once knowing the guy's name or knowing anything about him, and then someone's like, oh yeah, that person was crazy, like, later on, I kind of don't care. It depends on a few things still. Obviously, that can change depending, but overall, my default is, well, you know, as long as the messaging wasn't crazy in the thing they were doing, or you know, there's a lot that can still change that, but my default is I don't care. You cannot hold it. That's fine. That's fine. I just feel that in this world, there is everything's too much. I think everything's too much right now. Too much with people trying to link every artist to their art in ways where you cannot, like, you'll get lambasted for enjoying a thing just because they don't like the person behind it. Sometimes that person will have some messaging that is bad, but sometimes that person is actually really influential, and other times that person's just saying some shit and it's like crazy old man yells at cloud again, right? So it kind of depends on that person's influence too, whether or not I like care about that, you know? Like if that person's able to use their influence to really do something crazy, then I care more. But if it is, again, old man yells at cloud and they are having no impact, then I don't care because then they are no different to me than any other person who also yells these same things into the void, right? The difference is that they are also some sort of artist who made a thing, and the thing they made is popular, right? So really to me, like, whether or not I separate art from artist depends on how much actual influence they can have with whatever bad thing they're spouting or whatever it is, right? Yeah, exactly what Byte said, right? It's a combination of influence and harm, basically impact that determines if I care. Exactly. That's why my default isn't like, you can't separate art from artist, because sometimes you really can, because that person, when you take the art away from them, they're nothing. They're just a normal ass dude, and no one cares what they have to say. Other times that's not the case, you know. So that's really what it depends on for me, right? Like basically it depends on, is that person actually separate from their art, right? So when I see a headline where they're like, creator of this thing says this, if they have to say creator of this thing says this and not just their name and I know who they are, then they're probably very much one that doesn't matter to me, right? That can still change depending, but you know, for the most part, like, it's different when they say a name and you're like, oh my god, that's the person that did this, that's the person that wrote that, and then that person said this thing. Well, that person probably has more influence if you just know what they did based off of hearing their name, right? So it's all very dynamic, but that's when I tend to care more about whether or not I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to enjoy this person's stuff, this person's shit, right? But if they're like Dilbert creator and I'm like, yeah, very few people really like remembered his name and he doesn't hold influence over people, then I like, you know, I care a lot less about that than other situations you can compare it to, right? So on some level, you need to be able to consume art from these artists to be able to critique what they have to say. Yes. Absolutely. I'm also a big proponent of, even if you absolutely hate someone's messaging, you should not 100% block everyone out who you dislike. It's one thing to hear what they say and then go, ah, fuck you. But to not even hear it, at least once, not that you have to keep hearing it, but to not even be like, okay, but what did they say though? You know. a lot of it is it's also complex, but you know, especially if someone was fine and not doing anything crazy during the years they were making a thing and you really like that thing. And then later, especially when people get older, they tend to do this more, but they get really set in their ways and then later they come out with some crazy shit. I think it's okay to take what they did during that time when they weren't saying crazy shit and just encase it in amber, you know, coat it in resin, let it be a time capsule and enjoy it as it was. It's the same thing with some movies from the 90s and prior, even early 2000s and prior, where they make jokes sometimes that are really like would not fly today. You just say, look, it's a product of the time. It's okay to laugh and enjoy it as if you're transporting yourself to then, knowing that you would not do that today, right? I think that is completely okay because then you're a person who's watching it with tact and context in your mind, and you're not going to apply those things to someone today in a real format, you know. So I think that's all right within reason. There's some times where I'm like, that one's a bit too far because that one was never okay. You know what I mean? Like that one was always like looked down upon or whatever it was. But you know, right? The I hate my wife 90s joke. Yeah, the old ball and chain jokes. Like if I see a clip of someone in the 90s making one of those, I'm like, har har, you know, it's whatever. If someone made that today, I'd like probably be like, all right, buddy, you know, like my reaction's really different knowing what environment they said that in, right? So that's how I feel on a lot of that stuff. Your wife loves Friends and she still watches it to this day. Half the jokes in that show would not fly in 2025. Yeah, Friends is another one. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's some shows, some movies that you look back and I think one of the ones that's like hard to watch a little bit that's like that is straight up Rush Hour. You ever watch Rush Hour? Because the whole premise is that these two people are the races that they are. Ha ha. Like that is basically the premise of that movie. And the thing is, the good news is both of those actors who are those races were very involved in writing the humor. So you can rest a little comfortably knowing like that they were involved and approved it as far as we know. Like that was they wanted that. So it's like, okay, because they were doing it, thumbs up, right? And then at the time, that's just how things were. So I can watch it and still laugh, but I'm still a little like, you know, a little sometimes it's some of the jokes. Sometimes it's a little, I don't know. I remember hearing that Jackie didn't get a lot of the jokes. Yeah, I think with that they did have writers that were writing things for him that maybe were nuanced in a way that I don't think were completely right for him, but they were explained to him. So, you know. But that's also one of those things where I'm like, I don't know the full context there. So if something came out later and they were like, oh yeah, he actually hated that, I'd be like, oh, you know. But they're making another one, so that kind of gives me the reading between the lines for that, you know. Love Mel Brooks movies, but you never repeat like 95% of the jokes. See, that's me. I love Mel Brooks and I love Mel Brooks movies. I love his writing. But my God, yeah, some of that stuff you couldn't do today. You just couldn't. You're Blazing Saddles, yeah. Yeah, I love Mel Brooks, and a lot of his writing is some of my favorite. Like my one of my most favorite musicals is The Producers, which has some of the like most insane stuff in there, and it still holds up. It's still funny because it's clearly satire. But that's the thing that I always liked about his stuff was it was incredibly clear where the satire was. Like his humor was written in such an obvious way for a lot of that kind of stuff. And I felt like that was good because I'm one of those people that feels like you can basically joke about anything so long as it's super clear that the point of it is the joke, you know? And obviously there's some things that I think you should still abstain from. There's some things maybe you still shouldn't touch depending on who you are. But yeah, be clear and make it funny. Like, if it's not funny and you're just saying a thing and it's not landing, you are just being mean in the end, right? So you have to do it with a lot of tact. A lot of tact. Men in tights shaped your humor as a kid. Yeah. Yeah. Mel Brooks is a genius. Can't make a musical about Hitler, but you can make a musical about Hitler. Well, right, that's the thing, right? It was a full satire. The whole premise, for anyone who hasn't watched that, it's my favorite musical. The whole premise is there are these producers. There's one producer and his new accountant, and he makes him a producer with him too. And they're trying to do a money scheme. And what they realize when looking at the numbers is you can run away with more money if you make a musical that opens and then closes on opening night because it's so bad. Because you can like go, quote unquote go bankrupt and like run away with the money, versus something that actually does well, you'd make less profit. So they go through scripts and they try to find the absolute worst, like guaranteed to flop, to fail, to make everyone pissed musical. And they find some guy who like genuinely like still thinks World War II is going on, and he writes a musical about Hitler that's like an homage to him, and they're like, this has to be the one that we put on. This has to be the one that fails. But then, without spoiling the funny parts of the story, some of the actors have some issues, and some people that are really funny in the roles get put in there, so everyone ends up thinking that the musical that they put on is not serious. They think it's a satire, so it ends up doing really well. So it was oh man, it's a musical about a musical. It's so good. Yeah, Mel Brooks is Jewish, right? So it's, there's that layer, but it's a great one. It's a great one. And I find that like the jokes still do fly today because it was so clearly a satire. So it's one of those things that, like, still very watchable. It's one of my favorites, man. So good. So good. Said you pretend to prefer comedy, the punches up instead of down, laterals okay too. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Gene Wilder crashing out over his blankie. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is they have like little jokes about these things, but the main joke is this main character who's a producer and a terrible guy, right? Like the main joke. All right, we don't need to quote lines from it in the chat without people knowing the whole thing. But the main joke is like how awful this main character is, and not like just the shock factor of what the musical's about, So I think stuff like that, there's a lot more tact. So I enjoy it. But yeah, I really like that one. A lot of Mel Brooks stuff, he did a good job at making it obvious what's a joke and what isn't. So you can appreciate it a little more, Because it's more, I think from his writing, you get the sense of like, the jokes are being done because we all know it's awful. Not the jokes are being done because we're all just hee ha ha about this topic, like genuinely. You know what I mean? Like there was always a layer of satire about that kind of stuff. And that's why it carries through and it still holds. Because even today, you can tell all of this is dripping with sarcasm the whole time, Whereas a lot of other old humor that doesn't hold up so well, like, it'll be like stuff about race, let's say, right? And they just actually thought that joke was funny and there was no satire about it. and that's the kind of stuff where you're like, I don't know. Right? It's a little different. Yeah, it has layers. It has layers of satire. Exactly. You've seen so few Mel Brooks movies, you're missing out. You should see more. You should. You really should. I still think the most genius moment of Blazing Saddles is somebody's gonna go back and get a shitload of times. Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's so good. So good. Any recommendations? Let me look through a list of all his shit. I mean, you should watch The Producers. The Producers is great because it's the original is really good. The later one is great too. I like the 2005 one. They're kind of one-to-one with each other too. They both do a really good job of telling the same story. But the later one is good because it is more musical heavy. The first one is just a movie. It's just a movie. Robin Hood Men in Tights is up there. Spaceballs is a, yeah, personal favorite. Personal favorite. There's a lot that he did as I'm looking at this list. Jesus Christ. I would do Blazing Saddles, just take it as a product of the time. I would. Oh, History of the World, Part 1. He's been doing a lot of voice work. If I look at his IMDb, he's been doing so much voice work over the years. Interesting. Oh my god, he was in Dora the Explorer as the Mad Hatter. I didn't know. I had no idea. He did the Elephant Man? He did. He did. He did do part 2, but it was a miniseries? Yeah, it was very different. Very different. But History of the World Part 1 was insanely good. Let me see. Let me see. Can I sort by what you just have writing credit on? I don't know. Watch Young Frankenstein. Watch Young Frankenstein. Watch the... Was it the 60s that they made it? The 60s version of The Producers? Was that... The Producers... yeah, 67. 67. I really like that one. I also really like the 2005 version. Like, I love both, and I can't pick. They are different. They both tell the exact same story. A lot of the lines are the same, and the scenes look the same, but then one is like the musical version, and one is just the OG. They're both great. They're both incredible. But the first one has Gene Wilder, which is a you know, a big selling point for me. A big selling point. Do you think Peppo's ever watched The Producers? I'm trying to drag him into something. I'm trying to drag him into doing something with me, and I'm trying to figure out what's right. And I'm like, maybe making him watch the original Producers is the one. Maybe we do a watch along. Oh, no, he does watch alongs on his stream, but he's usually doing ones that are like public domain. I don't know if we could watch this without it being like a separate thing. You think he's seen it? Probably. I don't know. I don't know. I send him stuff via Discord, and then he tells me if he watched it or not, or what he thought about it in RP. He never DMs back. He just he just calls me in character, and I'm like, brother. Brother, please. It's so stupid. So they think Young Frankenstein's his best movie. Wall-to-wall jokes, gags, and banter, not a single bad moment. I know, one of my favorite, it's so simple. It's so simple, but one of my favorite lines is just Igor turning around going, I have a hump? when they're talking about, like, when they talk about his hump, and he just goes, I have a hump? What hump? Oh, man. The what hump is so good. Oh, it's so stupid. Was that one ad-libbed or was that one written? I don't remember. Certain lines were full ad-libbed. It's insanely good. It's just we need to watch it again. We watch it a lot of times around Halloween. I make movie night do it. We gotta do it again this year. Not a brutal analogy on why he needs to watch a movie with GEEGA. That's something I do. This is something I do to become friends with people. Is I make them either I share a movie or they share a movie, and I make them sit down and watch it. We get a couple friends and we watch it. I just force everyone into a room, and I'm like, it's time. It's time. You saw a stream of Sharkboy and Lava Girl that had a great many viewers, and guess they got away with that stream because all the Twitch employees were at TwitchCon. I mean, there's also the chance that you can ask for permission, sometimes pay a fee to do it. It might be doable. It depends on the company that owns the rights. That's the problem. So this was Embassy Pictures, Crossbow Productions, and Columbia Pictures. Columbia sometimes they do let you do this kind of stuff. I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I just really want you guys to see the original. I want you to see the original guy playing Carmen Gia, which is the name of a car, by the way. But there's a character named Carmen Gia, and I really like the person that plays him in the 2005 version, but the original was so fucking funny. So, we'll see. We'll see. Wish they didn't get rid of the watch party thing with Prime Video. Yeah, I really like doing watch parties. The way I was doing it was, I haven't done one in a while. We just watch movies in Discord, but we did occasionally do a watch party on YouTube. So I did a YouTube stream because I don't care how those streams do. I do not play the video. I do not have the audio. I simply sit there and put the timestamp visible of where I am in the movie on the screen, so you watch it on your own. We share a link and you watch it on your own and you know where I am. So the VOD is just commentary, and I would invite a friend, and Girl DM and I did that together. So you can sit there and do it like that instead of in a VC, because on Discord you have a limit to how many people can be in a VC. So that's why sometimes you do it, in stream format. But yeah, so I kind of liked doing that. But it's a little extra setup, and not everyone wants to go through those motions. But I don't know. I could maybe do... You know what I've never done on Twitch? Do they still have this? Can I do sub-only streams? Let me see. Subscriber streams. Yeah, everyone can watch for a small preview, and then after that, subscriber only. Only subscribers, VIPs, and moderators can watch them. I could maybe do it like that at some point. No, please? Didn't fucking ask. You're not even subbed. That's why they're saying no, please. Too bad. Too bad. Because I wouldn't want to do this kind of content as a normal stream, because, like, then it's not... If I'm not showing the thing on the stream, it's not for people popping in and out, right? It's for people ready to sit down for an entire session of something. So I would rather do it... Sorry, I have food here. I'd rather do it as a sub-only thing or something, just so that it's not looking like a normal broadcast that people should just pop in on for a few minutes, you know? I mean, you saw a streamer do a sub-only stream one time, and the backlash they got for doing it was insane. Who? Why would there be backlash for that? All of the content you watch of people on here is free for you to watch. You literally are entertained for free. And subscribing or doing anything like that is by choice. No one has a gun to your head. That's crazy. I hope it probably did. I hope that person was not bullied into not doing them again. But that probably did happen. Yeah, people do members only on YouTube all the time. I don't know, man. If it's someone with a huge chat, it can be plausible. No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. How's it different from Patreon, for example? It isn't. That's the point. People are entitled. I think people are just used to what they're used to. And every time you do something different, there will always be some people that freak out. That's all. That's all. Moo. Twitch has a different expectation than YouTube has. Yeah, but it's nonsensical. Right? It's nonsensical. And I think the other thing is, I'm not trying to victim blame, but I'm going to make a statement. If you make yourself seem bullyable and influenceable, malleable, because when people have backlash toward you for something, you bend the knee every time, then you're going to keep dealing with a lot of it. Streamers as a whole will all deal with it the more streamers as a whole bend the knee over stupid shit. Okay? Doesn't mean it's their fault that backlash exists, but, you know, it gets perpetuated, for sure. For sure. I don't deal with a lot of this stuff because I don't take that stuff, you know? Or I don't react to certain things or whatever. That's all. And that's why it feels like shit. It feels like sometimes it's not worth being a hard ass over a thing or whatever, but you need to set a precedent. This is why a lot of good leaders are people that seem like assholes, because they are like so headstrong and they're just doing their thing, whatever. Because when it's you versus a mass of people, you have to be like that. Otherwise, if you bend a little, the ones that want to keep pushing will keep pushing, and it, you know, always turns into a bad situation. So unfortunately, you have to do it that way, right? So yeah, as a streamer, you just gotta not bend. Otherwise, you know, you'll deal with that all the time. Yeah, exactly. You said be accommodating, but don't compromise on integrity. Exactly. That's why sometimes, let's say you're me and you make a tweet that some people don't like. Instead of getting rid of it and apologizing, you add a follow-up to clarify and go, no, I still stand by what I said, but you know, here's what I specifically mean about that. For those that care to you know what they meant. Right? But if you post a tweet that people don't like, and you just delete it and say sorry when you're not objectively super wrong or anything, you're just doing it to react to them, then those people will never leave you alone. They will do it to you every time. You know what I mean? It gets worse. So, you know. So when you're me and you make a tweet that some people don't like, but you know you're not wrong, you don't delete it. You just say, okay, I get why you're upset. Here's what I specifically mean, though. And here's you know, my opinion. Also, this is an opinion, by the way. Reminder, you know, like you just do that instead of, you know, looking like they won or something. Because that's the thing. They turn it into a whether they're winning or not kind of thing, when it's not about that. So yeah, when you're like a streamer, or you're any situation where you're one person and then you're up against a bunch of people, you just can't bend. Unless you're actually wrong. Unless you're actually like mostly wrong. And you're like, let me backtrack and redo that, because I realized that I'm wrong. Okay. But if you're not, don't do it. Give an inch and they'll take a mile. It's very true. It's very, very, very true. It always has been. People are like that. So they see it as weakness. Yeah, because what they're looking to do is they're looking to win against you. They don't care about the thing that they're arguing about as much as they care about just winning and feeling like they're right. So even though you're sitting there trying to defend like an opinion you posted or a thought you had or whatever it is, they're just trying to win. So they kind of don't care. So, you know what I mean? It's like sort of a lose-lose scenario. So that's why as a creator, you just got to be annoying about it and just be like a hard ass sometimes, you know? Yeah, and what you said is really true. You said in every controversy, there's a group of people genuinely concerned and another group that just loves drama, smells blood in the water. Right. But they're all like in one massive blob of people, you know? So it's true. That's why, like, whenever someone gets like a hate train going for them, I'm like, you shouldn't immediately like become super defensive and like everyone who's disagreeing is an op, because there are going to be people who are just kindly disagreeing or just simply stating their different opinion, and that's okay. You know, like that is totally okay and fine. It's how they state it, and are they like also sending you death threats at the same time? You know, like are they agreeing just to, or disagreeing just to disagree, or are they disagreeing because they have something to say that is of value? You know, like it's a mixed bag. It's just a tough situation, right? Said, I'm being 100% honest. I sometimes wonder how many VTubers become popular specifically because they said or did something someone found controversial, and then the accused gains a ton of support overnight. This community does that thing that any young community does, where it has a big blob of people that are like wildly passionate, and they're throwing their negative emotion at everything that they see. Someone does something they don't like, and everyone, I'll also say this right now, when someone says something that someone doesn't like, and it's just an opinion and it's not that big of a deal, there will always be a bunch of other creators that will post about it because they know when they post their differing opinion that goes with the masses, they will get a ton of likes. They will get people showing up to their streams. They will then, therefore, make more money. Okay? There's a fuck ton of them that do that. I continually unfollow people over this because something will happen, some controversy will happen, and it's not a big deal. It doesn't fucking matter. But then, like, you know, VTuber B will sit there, VTuber C, they'll sit there and they'll post engagement bait about it. Like, the situation has nothing to do with them, but they'll be like, I just think it's disgusting that people think they can something, and they make like a multi-paragraph post and they get so many likes of people being like, thank you for saying this, queen, clap emojis or something like that, right? And I'm like, do you not realize that this person does this every time that there's anything being talked about ever? It's the grift, right? So I just unfollow. It gets so annoying. It's so tiring because I'm like, this person didn't sit there and formulate this thought on their own. They weren't sitting there going, you know what grinds my gears? You know, they were like, I see an opportunity here. And it's so brave. Yeah, so brave. Yeah. That kind of stuff gets really annoying. And the other thing is it's very telling because those people turn on you real quick. Real quick. There will be people that are like, oh my God, you're so great, so amazing, you're so cool. And then you say one thing they don't like, and then they make a multi-paragraph post to get their cool Twitter engagement. And I'm like, oh, so you didn't care at all. You just are just going to go with whatever gets you the most anything at any point in time, huh? Right? There's a lot of that. So I don't know. But I feel like every community that's a bit younger is like that. And then over time, people get tired of it. And it evens out. It balances out. I think that's happening with VTubing, where, you know, there are big controversies, whatever, still. But I think people have gotten a little desensitized and gotten tired of it. And there are more people going, can I just watch content now? You know? Can I just watch a fun VTuber stream now? Like, there's a lot more of that, which is good. It shows people have gotten so tired of it that they're prioritizing what actually matters to them in their life, which is, I'm here to be entertained by entertainers, you know? So, always a good thing to see. It just takes so long. Every community goes through it, though. Every single one. And that stuff never completely goes away, but it does, like, lessen over time how much people care about stupid things that are, like, small, not that big of a deal, you know? It's just that when there haven't been that many controversies yet because the community is small, every controversy seems like it's crazy. It's like when a little kid falls, they're like 2 years old, they're a toddler, they fall and scrape their knee, and they're crying, bawling like they're dying because they've never felt worse pain than that. Because everything that has negative that's happening to them, they're comparing against whatever else has happened to them, which is not much, right? And I feel like that's the way communities are when they're young. Is like a controversy happens, it's really not that big of a deal, but there hasn't been that much to compare it to, so they're like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing ever. And then, you know, 10 years down the line, you're going to be like, yeah, that really wasn't that crazy. It's just kind of natural that it happens. And you'll notice, like, the older people in those communities really don't have those reactions, but the younger ones are, like, acting like crazy, you know? That's just how it is. YouTuber community is young, in your opinion? Yeah. Yep. Because it didn't really have a boom until 2021, and even then, a lot of that boom continued, like, 2022 and 23. So it's not really that old, yeah. Not really that much time for that many unique scenarios to occur of, like, controversy and stuff, realistically. Know what I mean? Says, too bad you can't fake laugh to minimize the drama, like with falling kids. Yeah, when a kid scrapes their knee and you're like, ah, yay, and they're like, and they cry less. Yeah, you can't do that. I know. He said, I feel in the past for VTubing, idol culture had a big part in it, and the nitpicking in idol culture is a nightmare. There's somehow remnants of that still existing. Yeah. I mean, I'll always say it. I do really like idol culture. I like the good parts of it. I've always been someone who loves idols and has loved that stuff. I own a lot of old J-pop albums and shit. Like, I've been through that shit, and I'm a longtime fan. So I've been very entrenched in that culture. Okay? And I've seen the good parts and I've seen the bad parts, and I love the good parts and I hate the bad parts. That's all. And idol culture is still really prevalent. But I will say most of the fans are in their own bubble, right? They're not in the Western sphere as much. It's more so in the Eastern sphere. So then when you get, like, the Eastern sphere and their mindset toward how you treat idols, how you treat celebrities, whatever, clashing with the Western mindset, that's where all this controversy tends to come from, you know? Because you'll have a VTuber who's an American woman and has grown up Western her whole life and just kind of likes idols. And then she is a VTuber, and sometimes some of them appeal to that audience, like an Eastern audience. And then they do a thing, and sometimes it turns into a huge nightmare for them because their mindset's completely different. And it just, you know, it becomes oil and water sometimes. I think there's some aspects of idol culture that are great that we should keep 100%. And then there's some things that just won't fly in the Western sphere. It's just going to be tough. And sometimes it's not even the Western mindset. Sometimes it's just, you know, in modern times, things have changed a lot. Idol culture is very different than it used to be. Very, very, very different. And I think it's a lot better. I think a lot of the stuff people hate on it for is stuff that they're thinking about old headlines. They're thinking about shit like that one AKB member who shaved her head after it was found out that she had a boyfriend, and she was showing like deep apology. That happened so many years ago. That happened so many years ago. But people to this day still quote it, and they're like, this is why I hate idol culture. And I'm like, okay, but all the people that were fans of idols at that time when she did that and were in that scenario, they all grew up, and it's all many years later. Like, this is old as shit, you know? And I'm not saying like stuff like that can't still happen, but that's old, you know? So whenever I see people point fingers at stuff, it tends to be a lot of old shit that I'm like, okay, there are modern examples. Let's just point to the modern examples, you know? Like, if you're going to say you hate it right now, tell me what you hate about it right now. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like that with everything. It's like that with K-pop, too. People be like, I hate K-pop companies because they do XYZ. But then a lot of the time, they'll quote something that happened a long time ago. And there are still controversies now, but the controversies that are happening now in that sphere are different than what the old ones were. Things have grown and changed. There's still people having issues with their contracts, but they're able to be like much more open about it. Whereas back in the day, it was just never talked about or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the things change, right? Time passes. Newsflash, time passes. Wow, the world changes when time passes. Wow, right? But somehow, yeah, every time people like start shitting on idol culture, they start bringing up stuff that happened 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And I'm like, you know, 10 years is a long time in entertainment. Like, everything changes every month. I don't know, man. There's still again, like, there's still modern issues, but I think they just don't know anything about idol culture. They're not kept up with it, so they can only quote those two things that they remember. You know what I mean? There's a lot of it where I'm like, this shit doesn't happen anymore, dude. There are things that do still happen, absolutely, and then there are also things that I think people just don't understand due to cultural differences sometimes. I think they just don't get it. I don't know. 10 years is like 16 eras in entertainment. Every year is wildly different. So, I don't know. You're so skeptical. That's okay. There are things within it that I still don't love. Like, something that, like, I like parts of but don't like parts of. A lot of idol companies debut idols in idol groups that are all very young, you know, which, to be fair, I think is okay as a baseline. The problem is, how are they dressing them? What kind of music are they doing? How much are they making them work? What are their schedules like? Are they still getting to go through school normally like normal kids, right? Like there's so much around that where, like, this could be okay or this could be awful. Look at a lot of child actors. There are ones that have turned out horribly, and there are ones that have been totally fine because they were allowed to balance their childhoods with it, right? So there's a lot of stuff that can still be good or bad, but, you know. But I think that's the thing, is none of these issues are black and white. They're always nuanced, and everyone's just like, I hate this thing. Grr. They try to say it in one sentence, and I'm like, it's not enough. I'm skeptical, but I also need info on what people are considering idol culture, like actual idols, or do they mean VTubers? Well, that's the other thing, Joel. Like, they're very uninformed about a lot of this stuff, so they're grouping it all together. And VTuber fan culture is not idol culture. It has absolutely aspects of it, and it comes from it. but it has its own quirks. Idol culture is a thing that is not just one, it's an umbrella term, but the culture around certain companies and certain types of groups are very different than the culture around like chica idols, like these smaller underground ones that you go and see in person, these small like dive bar like things, you know, like they're like tiny little places that you can go to watch them perform to a small group of people. That the culture with those groups and those idols is going to be so different than if you're like a Morning Musume fan and you love Hello Project, right? And yes, there are commonalities, but like every pocket of it is different. There are a lot of niches, but people always generalize all of it, and they'll see an issue that keeps happening to like one specific company's idols, and they'll be like, "This means I hate all idol culture," and I'm like, brother, there are patterns here. It's, you know, like, I don't know, man. It's just hard. People generalize anything. But then, you know, if you want them to not generalize, you have to sit there and educate them about all of it. And they don't want to sit there and learn about it. They're not there for that. So it's fine. It's whatever. VTuber fan culture started as idol culture, but evolved into its own thing. Yeah, exactly. Enough time has passed that it's its own niche now. So I wouldn't call it idol culture. I'm just like, yeah, it's VTuber fan culture, right? That's all. And again, like the VTuber fan culture in the East and in the West are wildly different with different groups. It's wildly different. It's all, you know, its own thing. Because fandoms tend to be bubbles. So it's worth not lumping them together because each bubble has so many quirks that are unique to that bubble, right? Like if you're specifically a VShojo fan and you're not a fan of any other groups out there, then yeah, you're going to be part of this one culture that's very different from the others. If you're specifically a Hololive fan and you're not a fan of any other groups or any other VTubers from anywhere and all you know is that sphere, then that's going to be very different from other things. So I don't like when people like take like VTuber fan culture and try to lump it together and be like, oh, it's all like this, because it's so different. It's so different. Indie VTubers too. Indie Western versus indie Japanese VTubers versus indie anything, you know, like it's all wildly different. So insanely different. You said the thing you're uncomfy with is the power dynamic that seems implicit in idol culture, i.e. the idea that an idol is utterly subservient on the fan base and their hosting company feels icky to me. Yeah, it depends on how it's handled. I think back in the day it depends on how it's presented and what they make them do. At the end of the day, they are hired into a company like an employee. And if they want the job and they signed a contract that says you have to do XYZ, then they wanted that job and they signed that contract. As long as it's within their contract, that is what it is, right? If you signed to do this thing, you did. Now, the stuff that happens that is not required by contract and the power dynamic stuff, that's the stuff that obviously I'm not a fan of. On top of that, I will say different idols do it differently. Sometimes it comes off as they're supposed to be subservient, but it's more like you as a fan are spending so much time watching me, consuming my content, and dedicating your time to me. My job is to dedicate my time to all of you because I am one person and there's so many of you. So I shouldn't be focused on other things. My job and my purpose here is to be entertaining all of you and spending my time for all of you because that is the job I'm doing right now. And that is my purpose. That is kind of the way it's supposed to wink. It's supposed to be. And there are a lot of people that do run their idol careers like that, right? They're like, I am training, I'm on my journey, I'm here to make content for you while I am on this journey, and you are here to watch for me, and this is like give and take, just in different roles. That's how a lot of it is supposed to be and is presented. And a lot of the groups that I've been a fan of have more of that attitude. And it's a good thing. There are also people that lean more into you have to be utterly subservient to your company thing, and that's usually like weird power dynamic stuff, and I don't like that either. Yeah, I agree on that, but that depends, you know. And it's a shame a lot of them sign when they're young, so they don't always know what they're signing into. You know, even if they have their parents sign on, like they don't do their due diligence, so there is that layer as well, where even if you sign a paper, sometimes it's like you didn't really know what you were getting into. You didn't understand because you were young or whatever. Right? What did you say? Hold on. Scroll up. Said, I love when the VShojo fans get looked at like weirdos in the overall VTuber fan sphere. It is arguably like the different one, I guess. Because the way I see it is, okay, when it comes to the Eastern VTuber sphere, when I say Eastern, I mean like the fan base is mostly Eastern and the companies are Eastern. A lot of what happens there is the people that watch those VTubers tend to just watch VTubers, and they tend to be fans of the corpos or just like VTubing. In the Western sphere, and specifically on Twitch, there are a lot of people that are just fans of VTubers, but they tend to also be fans of general streamers and content creators that are not VTubers pretty heavily, right? So there's a lot more mixing with that. And that is something that is the community that watches VTubers, is people that already watched a lot of streamers. That's where it comes from. So they're not like purely, I mean, some of them are, there's a mix, but it's not like 90% people that are just pure VTuber fans or anything like that. Not saying it's that heavy on the other side either, but you know what I mean. It's a less of a number. So so you end up with more mixing of all that culture, right? So then, yeah, you have like a group like VShojo where a lot of the people that watch us are just people that watch Twitch streamers, and then they got into VTubers on top of that. They're not people that, well, some of them are again, but most of them are not people that just watch VTubers and that's it. So, you know, it changes the culture a bit from where things are on the other side, where you have more of the fan base that is really just there to watch only them, people in their company, and VTubers specifically, you know? It's a whole different thing. Alfie, thank you for the raid. Hello. Hope your stream was good. Hope your stream was great. We're talking about communities and all that. Said in all your spreadsheets, do you have a way to track community overlap with other streamers? That'd be quite interesting. No, you do get well, it's not a complete no. Twitch doesn't really give you like analytics on like really complex overlap. They give you a really surface level view of that. So let me find mine to show you, for example. Ooh, have fun, Alfie. Have fun. Hope stream was great. So they give you a couple stats. Like one of them is views from channel. So they give you a total number of views that you got, and then they give you a percentage from top to bottom of like where people were before clicking into you. So if there's a pattern that people were in another chat and then ended up in your chat, they just do this through the chat client. They track this through IRC. Then they give you that stat. So for example, my number one is Mouse for channels people were at and then came to mine from. So there's that. I have Zen, I have Yuzu on there, I have Henya, I have Limes, I have Tara, I have Bruce, Bruce Green, I have RPR, I have Saikuno, I have Chibli. I have some names on here that are interesting, right? Yeah, Chibli. But the thing is, I think if someone gives you one huge raid and then never again, you'll see a good amount of that on there. These do make sense. Yeah, these are people that I know you guys watch. So they give you that. And then the other stat they give you is channels you share viewers with. So a channel that you have overlap with. And I don't, it's saying you and another channel had X% of viewers in common over the past 30 days. My number one on there is my alt channel. And then it's Matara. And then Zen and Haruka. Right? Which is kind of the way it's always been, except Matara, like, you know, ended up on that list this year. So, like, that's how that's always been. Right? So that is, I like this stat better than the other one, because they're just saying, like, you had X viewers in common. I think this is a better metric than the other one of just like, oh, you got views from this channel, because you could have gotten like one raid from a 10K streamer and then like it would be your number one on the other list. You know, this not GEEGA, she's siphoning my viewers. Oh my god. Oh my god. Said, oh, here's Cypress. Actually, yeah, they do end up on there a lot still, because a lot of you guys watch them like early and then you swap over to me. They do end up on here a lot. But yeah, so they give us those stats, but they don't really give us anything else. I kind of wish they gave us more. So they give us the top few that we share viewers with. I would like 20. I would like the top 20. Because if there are a lot of people, you know, that like go around to some streamer that I haven't seen before, I'd like to know who they are, and like, you know, I would probably like watching them. You know, you watch Garrick when you're sad and he makes you sadder. Yeah, he was on here for a while. The thing is, like, the channels that are bigger are always going to be the ones that end up on that list, so that's the problem. It's always going to be bigger channels. It's never going to be smaller channels, because the hard count is just not the same. Sometimes I see Moriko ends up on here a lot. Moriko and Mint Casteller. They pop in sometimes. It changes month to month. But there's always Zed and Matara on there every time. Always, always. You're a Matara Geek mouse person? Sounds like a lot of people are. I wonder why. That's very true. I've noticed that there are people that watch like pockets of people. And there is, I wish I could show like a relationship map or like a community bubble map or something. But there's a really big community that watches specifically me, Matara, Mouse. Like those three. And those are the three that they like main. And I don't know why. I've been trying to figure out why, and I'm like, I don't feel like our content is that similar because we're very different people in the way we act. But I guess conversation enjoyers, yeah. I guess so. I don't know, man. You're Matara Geek, Henya enjoyer. I have there are a lot of people that watch specifically me and Henya. Which I think is funny because we're so different. Like our streams are polar opposites, but I love watching her, you know? So like I guess so. I don't know, man. That's funny. What does demographic stats say? They don't give us demographic stats. That's something I really wish I fucking had. I really wish. I really, really wish. Man. Similar hair color. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Much GEEGA and Michi. Yeah, Michi never ends up on here, but I think it's time zone because she's so far out of when I stream that there's not going to be much audience overlap because of that. Because a lot of you will watch the beginning of her streams, but I don't think a lot of you will watch, if you watch me here for my whole stream, I don't think you're going to watch an entire Michi stream. Some of you will, but most people won't because that's so much time and it's so late for them, so. You know. Yeah, you wish you could watch more Michi streams. Yeah, I try to pop in. Sometimes she's on in the morning for me. That's when I say hi. Yep. You said, I mean, I play League of Legends and also Animal Crossing, so I get it. Well, I'm League of Legends and she's Animal Crossing. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. You could have picked Doom or something. You had to pick League of Legends, man. Ugh. But I get you. I'm the same. I'm the same. I'm gonna be playing Mafia and Fantasy Life all month. It's just how it is. You said, I basically just watch you, Mike, and Vinny. Yeah, there's also a big circle of people that watch me, Limes, Vinny, Mike, Rev. Who else? I think that's it. I think that's really the circle. It's interesting. Oh, and Hacker. Yeah, Hacker. Joey. Yeah, you mean Joel. Joey, he said. Fantasy Life has you by the throat, can't stop. Dude, I'm it's really good. It's really good. It's such a good fucking game. It is. Your late night streamers of choice are Henya and Will Neff. Oh, what a duo. Yep. Yeah, for me it's Henya and Moon Moon and Mouse. If it's late night and I open a stream, those are the three. Those are the three I've got most likely. And then some random friends like Garrick, May. But it's I'm always in Moon, Mouse, and Henya streams. Yep. You watch Limes, Michi, Henya, and Doki, and me. Oh, interesting lineup. Yeah. Mint's your late night streamer, dude. Mint Costellar is so good. Can you get Moon to say bounce on it, Dio? I can't get him to do shit. I can't get him to do shit. He only does stuff I don't want him to do. I need to figure out how to reverse it. I gotta flip it and reverse it on him. I'll figure it out. We'll get there. It will be a goal. I'll add it to the list. I'll add it to the list. I watch you, Tomato, Strippin', and Nia. Oh, that's an interesting, like, lineup. I keep saying it. I need to bother Tomato. There was a period of time where he just started coming to my chat a bunch and saying hi. And I was going to his chat saying hi. And that was it. But that's the streamer version of, like, here's my business card. You know what I mean? Contact anytime. When you go to someone's stream a bunch for like a week and then they go to yours for a week and you go back and forth for a week. That's what that is. And you have a choice. You either follow up or you don't. So I think I need to start going back to his chat again and being like... Because he did that to me, I did it less to him, you know? I need to do that. It'd be a wild combo. Alright. Weirdest combo, me, Tomato, Chibli, who'd be a fourth? Mike. There we go. Make it happen. Thought that was for siphoning viewers. It doesn't actually work as well as people think it does. But I love to joke about it. I love to joke about it. You, Kai, Moon Moon, Germa. Yeah, one of those things is not like the other. Me. Have Tomato and Mike met? I feel like they fall in love with each other. I don't think so. Mike is actually, like, really bad at networking. Because he always feels like he doesn't want to impose on anyone. He doesn't want anyone to think he wants anything from them. So then his answer is, I will just sit here and die. I will just say nothing to anyone, you know? So, and I'm like, hey man, you should just say hi to people because that's how you make friends. But he's just like, I just don't want them to think I want anything, so I will just make no friends ever. And I'm like, man, we gotta get him out there, you know? I will throw friends at him instead. So I kind of dragged him into like meeting a bunch of my VTuber friends, and that's been nice. So I need to keep like taking him, grabbing him, putting him in front of people and going, this is my friend Mike, guys. This is Mike. Like a collab with you with Vinny would go either strangely, amazingly, or nothing in between. Dude, we've done it before. One of my most favorite collabs, I invited Mike and Vinny to play Infinite Craft. And we had a bingo card of stuff we were trying to make and to see if we could get bingo. We were trying to just fill out as much of it as we could within our time limit. And one of them was, I was trying to make the poop deli. We were trying to make poop deli. And so half the collab is me sitting there dragging stuff and trying to, I'm just going, I can't make poop. How do I make poop? And you just hear me on like, on the other POV. And everyone's just like, she keeps talking about poop. It's one of my most favorite collabs to this day. I kind of want to do Infinite Craft Bingo again. That was fun. It's been a while. It's been a long while. Is Mike old? He sounds like me. Mike is 30. Is he 40 now? He's about to be 40. He's close to 40. He's like, I think he just turned it, right? His birthday just passed a little bit ago. I'm pretty sure. So either he just turned 40 or he's about to turn 40. I think he just turned 40. But yeah. That's not old. It's just for a streamer because everyone's like 22, you know, maybe. Maybe. Say 97 to be safe. Him and Vinny both? Yeah, they're the same age. Yeah. They are. It's true. That's how you found me? From that collab? Oh, great. Well, come on in. It's a good intro to the chat. I think chat just tries to find any excuse for me to say poop. I really think that's all it is. And it's like thinly veiled as us talking about like walkable cities, and then someone will be like, what do you think about the sewer systems? And then I have to say poop, and they're like, it's just a conversation about infrastructure, guys. That's really what it is. Thinly veiled? Yeah, thinly veiled, of course. Of course. What rhymes with stoop? Yeah, hey streamer, what rhymes with stoop? Mm-hmm. You know I'll say poop every time. Every time. You say that like you aren't looking for any excuse to say poop? No, 100% of the viewers, I would never. Goop, loop, coop, soup, alley-oop. So yeah, I would just say poop. Troop, yeah, with an E. I would just say a quarter scoop. Yep, quarter scoop, poop. On the poop bagel, I would just say poop every time. Yep. Oh, by the way, tomorrow we'll be on the alt stream, but we're trying to see if one of our group chats of people that love playing shit together want to do some variety. Mason was asking, everyone free tomorrow in the PM, Little Sons of the Forest, or Rematch? Rematch is that soccer game that came out. It's really funny. I kind of want to play Rematch. I don't want to play Rematch, not gonna lie. But we'll play anything. This is our, it's our Cyprus people that want to do variety all the time group chat. It's me, Elle, Mason, Warlock, Nova, Tyler. That's who plays Bo. Sab, Saikuno, and TJ. Oh, it'd be good. It would be good. The Rocket League with people? Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. It's Rocket League with just people running around. It actually looks so funny. It looks so funny. But you need like a good number of people. So the beta might be over. I don't know. I'll let them check into it. I'll let them figure that out. I'll just wait around and see. Mason was a FIFA demon for a while. He would ask me every day. I've like never played FIFA. I didn't really want to play FIFA. But he just wanted me to play FIFA. He was trying to invite everybody. Every night, the server would pop off with messages from him. Yo, anyone down for FIFA? And I would watch them. Instead of playing, I would just watch them. And dude, the comms while they were playing was just cooked. They'd be like... Yeah, the group was called the Shoe Shiners. Dude, they'd hit a goal and they'd be like, shine my shoes, bitch. I think but that's where we got the shine my shoes, bitch line from. If you heard us playing like other games together and we kept telling people to shine our shoes, it's because the FIFA team was the Shoe Shiners. Because they were so bad. They were so fucking bad. Oh, yeah, really good team. Really good team. I want to do more variety with them, though. I'm trying to grab more of them. Half of it was Mason and Nova calling each other fucking idiots. It was great. Dude, one of my favorite repo collabs was having Mason and Nova in there, and the two of them are always just bickering. So I'm just trying to play repo. I'm trying to put shit in the cart, and then you hear Mason going, Nova, you are so fucking dumb. You are so... And he's just, like, ripping into him, and Nova's just giggling. He's just going... And when he giggles, he sounds like he, like, can't even breathe. He sounds like he's dying. Like, he actually sounds like he's dying. So it's just... The whole time, I'm just trying to play repo. I'm just trying to put shit in the cart, have a nice collab, and the two of them are, like choking each other out in the corner the whole time. It was so funny. It was so funny. I gotta get them for more shit. I need it. I kind of wanted to get them for like something like Human Fall Flat, some kind of like shitty teamwork game. I think we got to do a Pico Park day. I'm gonna say that. We gotta do a Pico Park day. We need it. Don't say oh no. Oh yes, we need it so badly. We need that. I kind of wanted Chained Together, but that one's oof. Elle just went ooh. Ooh. I want to get Elle. I want to see if we can grab Croc at some point. Get the Italians in here. We gotta get Croc and like Halsey and all them. That'd be fun. I haven't seen Croc in 100 years because my character hates his character. No, she doesn't hate him. She hates the way he works. She doesn't hate him at all. But I want to see Croc. I miss him. Friendships don't survive Pico Park sometimes. Oh, I know. I know. I have literally fought with someone over Pico Park legitimately. Buddha Uzi fights over 2K are one of my favorites. I need to get Omi too. I need to get Omi. I promised him that sometime when he was like done with a family thing he was out doing, we'd snatch him. I need to get Omi and Uzi. Pico Park with Buddha and Sab. Buddha specifically avoids doing variety with certain people because he knows he will get toxic and he doesn't want to do that to them. So he specifically like avoids it sometimes. We were gonna do Risk together a long time ago. It never happened, but he was like agreeing to it. But there are other people he'll just be like, I'm not doing variety with them because I will get toxic, depending on the game. And people will get legitimately upset. And I'm like, that's really good of you to hold back. Like, I don't know if you watch him late night playing on his alt channel with Sab, but him and Sab play shit together. Or sometimes it's just on Sab's channel. And he's just ripping into Sab, calling him brain dead the whole time. And and Sab loves it. He's just chilling. He's tanking it, you know? It's just... That shit is so fucking funny. I cry every time, man. Every time. Buddha Saeed Gamma streams went crazy. I know. I watched so many. So many of those, just up like a podcast on the side. God, that shit was hilarious. I think the group of me, Harry, Nova, and Mason was really good. Our Schedule 1 group. I want to get that group as like the seed group for Pico Park and add a few people. I want to get Saeed, Zatark. I think we got to do a day where it's like the Dons plus me plus Mason and the Nova, and that's the 8. I think that's we need like the leadership, and then if anyone drops, we put Sab in. That would be crazy. Garrick, Mike, you, and another poop streamer. Probably Moon. Poop streamer. It's just accepted now, man. I love that moment where Harry realized, wait, have we just started a drunk empire and shut GEEGA in a warehouse to grow again? Yeah. It's the natural way of the world, man. It was so fucking funny. That's true. We were playing Schedule 1. And I was like, guys, I got it. I'll be the producer. So I was making all the drugs in Schedule 1. And yeah, I remember that Harry had that, like, that full realization. He's like, oh my God, it's happening again. We can't do this to her. He's one of the ones that's like aware. That was so funny. Harry's funny as fuck. He's one of the funniest people. He's so like quietly funny, and he comes off as he's not trying to be funny. But I to this day I laugh when I just think of him saying "my tomatoes" out loud. When I just hear him going "my tomatoes," it just no one else could say it and make me laugh as hard as him, but he just says. He's just a funny guy, and it's so honest too. His tomatoes were dying and he was so upset. My tomatoes. Oh, fucking crying. Why am I talking to BK about logistics? I think me and Medi need to do more shit together. I don't care how we do it, just me and the streamer Medi need to do something together, because yeah, like I think like a black hole is produced when we start talking about logistics. We need it. Just do a variety streaming character, like you need to work on your comms, so you do it as a team building thing. The guild did that in WoW. They they did it a long time ago. Let me see if we have, hold on. No Pixel Guild WoW raid. Let's see if there are any pictures of this. They were on NoPixel, and they did a raid in character, but what they did was they had their characters sitting there, and they had like a green screen of the screen that was in front of them, and then they put their actual game screens in there, so it looked like their characters were sitting there. Yeah, they were at the digital den. Yeah. And they were like doing a WoW raid together in character. That shit was funny as fuck. His Earthwell was the best. I miss all the early stuff. Yeah. Not too many streamers are good at inventory and logistics. Oh, I lock in. That's why I have a hard time playing some simulators and talking during them, because my brain just goes, it just like, I begin using 1000% of my mind power, and I open my third eye and I start going crazy. I love it. Like, me silently playing PlateUp with 3 other people that are locked in is an incredible feeling. It is euphoric. Okay, euphoric. Insane. That's why I love doing like games like PlateUp, things like that. I just do solo runs. I sit there and I do solo runs of it, and it is just so fucking fun, man. I love some Nino and Gigi interaction or collaboration. We need more of it. Factorio Satisfactory. I was meaning to play one of those with Barky. I don't know if you know, but like before GTA, his whole thing was he was a RimWorld guy, and he did nothing but make RimWorld videos for like years. And he was asking if I'd ever played one of those. I was like, no, I haven't. And he's like, okay, if you do, get me in there. I'll drag you through one of them. And I was like, oh no, because he's also a logistics Andy, so we could go crazy with it. I have to figure out. We had a sub goal on his subathon that we hit, where one of them was like, he's gonna play a game with me, and I think it was gonna be chained together, but now I'm like, maybe we should do a factory game. Or I kind of want to carry the glass. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Figure it out. You soon wait. A whole group can lock in playing PlateUp. I have to actually hit up Saikuno about it, because yeah, there are certain people that will lock in, and there are other people that absolutely will fucking not. And most collabs, you have a mix. And I tend to, like, it's such a disservice that I do to myself, but I tend to, like, go silent. I go non-verbal during these collabs sometimes, because I'm letting them have fun. And then I'm just in the back making pizzas like crazy. Just going insane, you know? And I'm just like running a perfect kitchen while they're all out front screaming. And I need to see what it's like to play with 3 other people on stream. They're all locked in. And actually do a sweat run instead of just a content run. You know what I mean? I need that. I need that in my life. I want it. Because I don't know, being efficient is fun. Played up stream with Kitty a bit ago was good. I love Kitty. I have to do stuff with Kitty. I've been promising Kitty and Neutron we could do something together, and we just haven't picked a day. Hold on. There we go. Why is that disservice? Because when I'm streaming, it's good to be talking and like looking like I'm having fun. But the thing is, when I lock in, I don't really look like I'm having fun, but my brain is so happy. But I just go silent and I stare at the screen, and you just see me going bah, 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 like making pizzas super fast. And I'll see, like, occasionally in chat people will be like, she's been quiet. Is she having fun? Does she not like this game? But realistically, I'm like having the time of my life. I'm just locked, you know? Like, that's how you know I'm really having fun with a game. When I'm completely nonverbal and I'm just like staring at the screen, going crazy. That's how you know I'm like super into it, you know? Not to say that otherwise I'm not, but that's like, it's one of those things that like my brain just eats it up and I have to go silent. Kitty clicks over with the VTuber crew is nice. Yeah. A lot of my friends do. But Kitty especially. Some games are really fun to sweat in. Content runs are also fun. We get stale with repetition. No way sweaty runs don't. Yeah, I think I like a balance. That's why I was really having a great time when we had the sweaty repo group. And it's the same crew as the ones that were doing sweaty lethal runs. And we were going through and just actually trying to get high scores. That was so fun for me. That was so fun for me because we had gotten out of ourselves all the content runs, you know, already. So going and flipping and be like, okay, now we're going for like records. I love that shit. I just I don't have a ton of friends that want to do that, you know. I want Kitty to try VTubing so bad. Neutron's actually gonna get a model. He's working on it. Yeah, I want Kitty to do it. I agree. Kitty would be an insanely good VTuber. An insanely good one. I just don't know that she wants to focus on that because she has a real job, but she has a great job. So she's doing her thing. Kitty introing herself as the ERP god to the Shoujo girls is so funny. I mean, on the server, literally, she would have her like her in-game husband snort coke off her ass. In-game, of course. Twitch. And it was funny as fuck. And he's also a really quiet guy. He's like, hey guys, what's going on? And then she'd be like, and she has like a funny voice. She's like, come on, Octo, let's go, Goofy, you know. And he would, and he'd like make a sniff sound and be like, that's the good stuff. I can't. Just go find clips of it if you want to see it. It's rancid. It's so funny. There's so many clips of them doing weird shit because they just want like other people to walk in and feel embarrassed. So they would set things up and they'd stand in a room and wait for someone to walk in the door and then pretend they were like mid doing something crazy. There's so many funny clips of that. Yeah, she'd be like, get the coke. Kitty's voice is like pure peepo happy. Yeah, there's some people that they just talk and you're just like, ah, you know, anything they say makes you happy. Kitty's like that. Henya's like that for me. They just say anything and you're like, yeah, me too. Yep. Yeah, now Kitty has turf, so she can win like, I got turf, I'm a gang leader. Gigi, I'm a gang leader. She's so cute. Love the Rust house with the wheel set up. Yeah. I was playing Rust with her. Rust was so fun. Rust was great. I want to do more server-based stuff with friends. I want to do a V-Rising day sometime soon. I was gonna do actually Stunlock Studios might sponsor me to go on the alt channel and make a server and do some stuff. So I might open. I'm not sure if I'll do a community server or what, or invite friends to it first. But yeah, they wanted me to do a thing with that. And I was like, it doesn't really make sense on main channel if I'm just like checking out some V-Rising shit but not doing like a month-long arc. So I was like, what about the alt channel? And they were down for it. So if you looked into that new Dune game, yeah, I don't want to play it. People keep asking me about it. I don't want to play it. It looks okay. I was hoping it'd be really good because I love Dune, but the style of gameplay, I just don't know that I want to play very much. I don't know. I don't want to play more survival games unless they do something interesting, and they just kind of don't. They just kind of don't. I think the last survival game that I was really interested in, like really, really interested in, was Grounded. It was Grounded. Because that game had story to it. The world was interesting. The premise was interesting. You're fighting like giant bugs instead of random dudes or zombies like every other game is. And it was just really cool. And it wasn't tedious doing all of the survival shit. You just needed to make a simple base. But for the most part, it was about progressing the story and going and exploring new areas. So I really, really, really enjoyed that. I just did not... I don't know. There are a lot of games that are survival, but when there's no story to get into, I feel like they fall really flat for me a lot of the time. You know? You want the next Subnautica? Yeah. I kind of like Subnautica, but I also kind of don't. I don't know. I can't tell if I like or dislike Subnautica. It's one of those games where every time I would play it, I would start off really enjoying it, and then after 2 days, I'd be done, uninterested. Valheim felt great, but no story. Yeah, oh, I loved that one. Love that one. If I want a sandbox survival game, I'd probably just play Minecraft. Yeah. Don't want to play the first 3 hours of Raft again. Yeah, I'm just so like, man. Hey, also, I'm sorry for deleting this comment because there's nothing wrong with it, but don't come in here and post anything from the real world that could trigger anybody start saying other shit from the real world ever, as said in the rules, okay? You're not wrong. I just am not here to spark those discussions, okay? Not the place for it. I'm a VTuber talking about video games. Okay? Said you can't handle the ocean part of Subnautica, freaks you out? Like any of it, or like the deep ocean parts? Because I know some people that would play... Oh, I didn't even, like, see the emos. You're right. You're right. Fuck that. Yeah, no, I think, with Subnautica, I know a lot of people that really, really, really enjoyed it, and then they got to the deep ocean parts, and they were like, no. It was just a straight up no for them. And that was just, like, one of those things that they were like, I can't be here. Deep ocean, same thing with Hurricane Planet and Outer Wilds. Oh, I know so many people. Okay, I won't spoil too much. I know so many people that when they got to that part in Outer Wilds where you get to that planet and you do the thing on that planet, there's a part of it where it's so dark. It is very dark. And when I watch people do their playthroughs, that game isn't too scary, but they have a few parts of it that are for some people. That part, people freak out. I watch people get like they have a visceral reaction. They're like, oh God, because it's like water, dark, can't see anything, but you have a flashlight. So occasionally you turn and there is something right in front of you because you don't see anything until the flashlight illuminates it, and it just freaks them the fuck out. Same thing with that other planet with the things in it that I can't spoil, but yeah. That shit freaks people out, and it's so funny to watch. It makes the streams really fun. Just watching people, like, cry. Because the whole game is, like, to me, I find very comforting and very nice. But there are a lot of parts where it's just a big old nope for people. For sure. It's just, you know. You know. I wanted to complete Subnautica, but when they upgraded to 1.0, your computer couldn't run it anymore. No! No. You've not finished the DLC because it scares the shit out of you? Oh, I love watching people play the Outer Wilds DLC. I love it because it's so... Okay, again, not to spoil. It's so good, but it's a big departure from the feeling and the vibe of the base game in a good way. It juxtaposes it on purpose. It's so good. But people get really scared. People get really scared. It's not a horror game, but there are things about it that play like a horror game for people. And it's so fun to watch. It's just spooky. Yeah, spooky for no good reason. I liked it because, okay, again, without spoiling, I love it because it juxtaposes, it makes it so that when you go out into like normal space in that game and you're space travel, flying around, whatever, it makes you feel like that's comforting and you're not scared. That's the world you know. And then you go to the DLC and you're not like doing a thing out in space, like the big unknown, but there's just like the small right around you unknown, and that's terrifying. And that's what I love about it. Without spoiling, it's just like not knowing what's right around you versus the vastness of space and which one of those is spooky to you. I feel like, okay, I could write an essay. I gotta invite Archon on for a talk about this. We gotta get Archon here. But the juxtaposition between those two things and the way the DLC is set up to make you look back at the base game and find comfort in all of it is incredible. And that is not the main message of the DLC. That is just a thing that it also does, which is why I don't feel it's that spoilery. But I think that it is so beautifully set up and written because of that, man. It's so great. Until you knew what you were doing in the area, you were just on edge. Yeah. Yeah, especially because it's so quiet. I think that's the thing. When you go around the game, a lot of parts of the base game are quiet, but there are noises and things indicating stuff. You get to the DLC and there's some parts that are just so silent, and then you just hear like a footstep. It's straight up horror game kind of audio, and it's great. It's great. I'm gonna message Archon. I'm letting Archon know. We need to do an Outer Wilds podcast. Just once. Is the DLC accessible only post-base game, or can you get it on your first playthrough? Oh, if you have it downloaded, it's always accessible. Always accessible. However, I personally feel that the best way to play the game is to not have the DLC downloaded at all. That way you don't accidentally stumble upon it, because that can also kind of ruin it for you a little. Don't have it downloaded at all. Go into Steam and like uncheck the DLC when you go through the DLCs of it. Leave it off. Play the base game all the way, feel like you've done everything you want to do, and then activate the DLC and go play that. That is how I would do it. That's what you did unintentionally. I watched a playthrough. I think it was Lena. I think Lena was playing it, and she just stumbled upon like one of the main things from the DLC. She just like flew into something and then was just like, oh, what is this? And everyone was like, oh God. It's one of those things where like, it actually can be a cool experience watching someone discover it and try to interact with the DLC like before they finish the game, but I think they shouldn't. I know. I don't know. You can uncheck it in game now. Oh, that's so good for quality of life. That's how it should be played, in my opinion. Because I feel like the way all the writing is done, the way all the environmental storytelling in the DLC is done is like the base game makes so much more sense, and it's so much more beautiful when you then do the DLC after. And it gives you a lot of like understanding of things that you don't get from the base game, but I feel like you shouldn't go and finish base game with that understanding already, you know? Like you should just do it, have some questions, and then later it answers those with the DLC, and then you're like, oh my god, it's so complete, you know? You had a super hard time following the story and characters in Outer Wilds. When you played it, did you use rumor mode, and did you look through the ship log in rumor mode over and over? Because that's the way to do it. And you have to take your time with it. I know, without spoiling, I know you don't have a lot of time to do certain things, but take your time with it anyway. That's the way to do it. Yeah, I agree, Gear. Did you use your Pepe Sylvia board? No. No. I was completely Pepe Sylvia on it, but I just kept it all in my head. Couldn't remember who was who. That's fair. I think a little set of notes is good. A little set of notes is good for it. But yeah, that's the thing, is the ship log is your Pepe Sylvia board, so you kind of don't need your own because they do that. Like, there's part of me that wishes Blueprints did that for people. But I think for them to build that, the devs would have to take so much time. Like, you have to make your own. But I think more people would have, like, really kept up on Blueprints and played through all of it, and I mean all of it, if they had that built in. But for me, there's this immense satisfaction out of doing it myself, so, you know, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Every time we talk about Outer Wilds, I wonder where I need to ice pick my brain to forget that I've played it. Yeah. I know. That's the one thing I keep hoping for. I'm like, one day, if I ever get amnesia, I hope there's someone around me to remind me to play Outer Wilds. You were into it because I had the board? A lot of people said that they liked watching my Blueprints playthrough specifically because I had the board. So when I would pull something up, like I would go, oh my god, guys, and I would remember something. And instead of just saying it, I would pull up the board and show you so you could be reminded. Or if you weren't there for that like part of the stream the other day, you would see it, you know? And that's what I wanted to do, because I realized when I play puzzle games or I play any game with a lot of story going on like that, people get so fucking lost. So fucking lost. And that's, I think, really important to do. I have been making progress in that game, by the way. I have been. Bit by bit. Outer Wilds and Tears of the Kingdom are the two games we want to play for the first time again the most. All the story in Tears of the Kingdom is so good. It's so good, man. I kind of wish they just never made Breath of the Wild and only made Tears of the Kingdom. Or, like, marry them together, but, man. Ooh, fresh Oberdin. Oberdin, I did replay it on stream after having already played it like well before that when it came out. Um, I think it's doable even if you kind of know what happened, but you miss out on, you know, that discovery moment with the story again, but figuring out exactly how it happened and doing the gameplay, you don't remember that, like the specifics at least. So that's one that's still kind of replayable, kind of sort of, as opposed to Outer Wilds, where you just get in there and can do everything because you know how. You know. Devs confirmed they're making a new game, no details on it yet. Ooh, I need it. I need it. You said really hard to make progress in those kinds of games without a peppy board if you're a visual learner. Yeah, I've noticed over time how much a lot of people that watch streamers are visual learners. They just can't retain information when it's just told to them the same way that they could retain it if they see it. So, yeah, the board was good, and I think we'll do that for more games where it makes sense. I think we will. Bark said I did get lost and I have to make content from that. Yeah, my own editor had to follow. Imagine being my editor and having to make content out of my Blueprints playthrough, meaning you have to know everything that's going on in there. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. What a painful job. What a painful job. He's, you know, he's doing his best. And he is ESL, that's the thing too. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. Poor Bark. Poor Bark. Did you give him access to your board? I asked if he wanted it, and he was like, you pull it up on stream each time, so it's like there. You always do. So, I guess it's good enough. But I was like, ping me on any questions you have. On anything at all that you want to know. Anything in the world. And I will tell you, because otherwise, if you have to sit there and try and watch that VOD and understand what I'm talking about, I could explain it so much faster. Whereas in the moment, I'm going, chat, shut up, don't talk to me. It's 8s all the way down. I'm like freaking out, tweaking. I think those streams were just me being a crazy person. It was just like me on coke, you know, like it's just kind of the vibe. But it was funny, man. It was a fun game. It was a fun game. I can't wait to show you guys the recap once I like go through and finish a bunch of stuff. I wanna show off some shit. Archon noted. I said chat's requesting Outer Wilds podcast. He goes noted. W. He says I'm down. I've been going through the game, completing the ship log again, and practicing speed runs. We gotta do it. Oh my god. Alright, we'll have a full spoilery one. As far as GEEGA and Blueprints, the tunnel. I'll say that much. The tunnel. Because you don't know, unless I show you, but without spoiling, the tunnel. Okay. Like, we've been doing all this super late post-game stuff. That's what I've been doing. It was just, when I was getting to the point where I was trying to get through that, I realized how much time it was going to take, and I was going to spend stream time just trying to do these runs over and over to get specific things to occur and to happen. And I was like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, yeah. I've just been doing that off stream, and maybe we'll do some progression. We did one day where we did all channel progression, so we could do that. We could do that sometime soon, maybe. I've been kind of spreading it out a little bit, but yeah, the tunnel. That's to answer your question without spoiling. We're working on that. Chat, don't ever say shit to me again. 130 is the shit. Oh, dude, I felt like my ninth chakra aligned, dude. I was sitting there. knowing it was something. And when you know it's something and then you get the validation, oh, that game has moments that are just like so weirdly euphoric. So insane. Just me screaming at chat, don't talk to me. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's gotta be something. It makes me really miss all that phase when we were playing GTA and we were like figuring out the heists. I wish they would get crazier. And while I want to be the person figuring it out, I've also written up a lot of ideas on basically puzzles and things that they could make for other people to figure out some heists. And I'm going to forward those to the team and be like, hey, do this. The day the rivets get answered is going to be the golden era. Are there still things people haven't figured out? I know a while back the devs had confirmed there was stuff that people had not found yet. Is that still the case? Let me see. How much is still unknown? I don't know. I don't remember which heist it was, but it got a lot of mileage out of the one with the vault that would fill with gas if you took too long. Oh, you're thinking of the one where we were underwater with the underwater welding torch and trying to cut the bars, and if we messed up the hack too many times, the gas would get unstable and explode, and we'd die. That one. That one was really good. That was really good, unless you're talking about in the past. Yeah, that was the fish game. That was the one that I did where I ended up being like the best out of all of us at that one hack. So I would be the person with the torch. Oh man. Love it when you go into the one green room and then you go off on the one who told me about the tea. I'm still pissed at that person. I'm so pissed. I hate backseaters. I'm so pissed at that person being like, did you notice that on the wall, the slight coloration makes it look like a T? Fuck that guy. Oh, you're talking about the gazino. Yeah, I wasn't around that day, or that time. Dude, that fucking backseater pointing out the T. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy to all hell. Screw that guy. I want to check the Blueprints subreddit. I kind of want to see like if we have confirmation on whether or not things are like done. Have people found everything? But at the same time, I feel like if I do that, then I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna get spoiled. So I don't want to. You know, that part kind of scares me a little bit. A lot of it. There's a Steam thread with like the list covering the first 5 posts. Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, I wanna look, but I think if I do, then no. Then no. It might spoil me. Oh yeah, everything is super spoilered. Yeah, I'll avoid it. I'll avoid it. It'll happen if you look anywhere for confirmation and people just blurt stuff out. I'm sure. Yeah, I think maybe I don't. Apparently there's a Discord group somewhere about endgame shit. Yeah, maybe if I get to the point where I feel like I've done everything, I'll become one of those people that goes and hunts for shit. I'll go join the sickos. I'll join the absolute sickos in the Discord for Blueprint sickos. It's almost time for me. It'll be soon. It'll be soon. So one of the streamers that sees too much of you actually has assigned you as his designated backseater. No. In a good way, are they someone who wants backseating? Because there are some streamers that are like, hey, I appreciate help. And I do enjoy, like, you know, whatever. Mouse is one of those where she likes hints because she just doesn't want to feel like she's wasting her time. She just wants to get through games on stream and hang out with the community, you know? So she's like, yeah, if I'm not really making progress, just tell me, like, hey, make sure you look on the left again, or, you know, something like that. Minnie does because he only plays games for like 2 hours at a time. Yeah, I just have the rule of, like, if I ask, I ask. And I will just be like, okay, I've tried this for 10 minutes. It's enough. Chat. What is this? Where is this? Or whatever. Like, I'll just ask at that point, because I don't see the point in, for content, sitting there and spending an entire hour, like, actually an entire hour looking at something. I don't know. I don't know. I hate puzzles. Please don't make me think. Please don't make me use my brain. Yeah, like, even something like Blueprints. I've seen a couple people play it and allow their chat to not spoil them, but help them with what they're currently looking for. Or if they look at, like, one of the notes in one of the corner rooms and they see, like, the word beside is italicized, someone will be like, hey, the word's italicized, you should write it down. Right? And then when they see another one, they're like, oh, another italicized word. And they go, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? So they're, like, kind of doing it with them, a little for them, but not completely being like, oh, put 4 of these together and then something, you know? So there are communities that can, like, really nicely backseat, where they're, like, guiding and not pushing, you know? So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know. I still want to do, I want to, like, oh, what's the thing I'm trying to do in that game still, in Blueprints? Oh, I want to get the Blessing of the Monk, and I want to get every room drafted to the outer room. That is the thing that I wanted to start doing, and I was like, this is not main channel content. This is the kind of stuff where, like, I could have you guys be like, oh, you should try this one. Oh, you should try that one. And, like, nicely backseat, like we're saying, like guide. And then I try those. But I want to do all of them and see them all myself in case I see some shit that I feel like you guys didn't see. You know what I mean? So stuff like that I want to do in this game, not the most streamable. I could do it on the alt channel, but I think for me, I don't know. I don't want to guarantee Blessing Monk if you want a hot tip to save time. Yes, if it's a time-saving one, I'll take it. I will take it. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. Exactly 13. Oh. I know about that. I thought you meant something easier, like making sure you always get the shrine. I knew that one. But thank you. But thank you. Might make a nice low energy day ender session. Yeah, I could do it at, like, the end of some streams or something. I could. I think 72 gold is the upper end. Something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, I have to, like, throw away a run just to spend all my gold on it, all my allowance on it. You just multiply it. We'll get there. We will get there. I also haven't opened the curse box yet. I need to open it. I just feel like I'm gonna die instantly if I do it. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. For a more consistent shrine, you can delay drafting the outer room until you have the rerolls. That's true. That's true. Well, we'll play more of it. I've not, like, completely dropped it. I'm just so invested in it that I'm trying to do it the right way. You ever break the piggy bank? No, I have not. And at some point I should, just to see it, because what if it's not gold? What if there's something else in there? What if there's a note in there that I never got? You know, like, I just have not, probably not. I assume it's just gold, but I've never broken it because I don't want to break the cute little piggy. I don't want to. I don't want to. Who breaks a church piggy bank, brother? Yeah, I feel disrespectful breaking the little piggy bank. And I don't know if you can, if it's permanent or if you can keep breaking it again. Broke the thing after like 5 runs. There must be so much money in that piggy bank. The number of runs I've done where I've dropped a couple coins in there and it's just been sitting there. Oh my god. It's that thing has to be made of solid gold at this point. Oh, Archon said am down. I'm giving him the green light. I'm saying if you ever want to just drop into rant about Outer Wilds, I give you the green light. I have some friends where I give them green lights, basically like saying, if you ever want to just hop in and rant about XYZ thing, you just can. There you go. But it has to be about that thing specifically. Like they get a pass for something. So for him, it's Outer Wilds. It is. What if my MPT are super into Outer Wilds? I don't know if I can have a full discussion about it in the stupid voice and not just drop the voice accidentally all the time. I don't know that I could. Up rent for monk is 77 coins. Ooh, writing this down. Ooh. Notepad. I'm writing it down. I'll go look it up later, make sure it's correct. I will do it. Go to the casino and do the 200 coin roulette. I have already. I've done it. Your body's ready for the Outer Wilds ranting. I'll have to put like a text on the screen that says like Outer Wilds plus DLC discussion. Do not watch if you have not played. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Or something. Because like if I don't, someone's going to walk in and I'm going to be like, so then the real meaning of this end thing, they're going to be like, oh, I didn't know. But you know what? How much do you want to bet? I'll put the word spoilers on the screen. And people will still come in and be like, oh my god, spoilers. Because they don't read. They don't read. They never do. They never do. Spoiler and title pinned on screen, still not enough. My favorite is we're gonna bring back indie game gauntlets. I would play indie games, okay, and we would play a bunch of them. So I would just be in the special events category, or like games and demos or something, somewhere. And because of that, we're not in the category for the game I'm playing. So instead, I write at the bottom of the screen, current game, and then the name. Like we're playing Raw Metal. Current game, Raw Metal. I would put that at the bottom of the screen in plain text, readable. And yet every single game I would play, people would come in and be like, yeah, eyes closed. What game is she playing? What game is this? What game is this? Streamer? Archon, when I said, yeah, he has the green light to drop, and he's like in chat, you mean, or what? And I said, no, you can literally just call anytime, and I'll force chat to listen. This is my new bit. I'm giving friends green lights to come in at any point in time, just call in to stream, and you have to listen to them talk about a specific thing. But they only get the green light for that thing. So for him, it's Outer Wilds. I'm gonna have a different one for each friend. I'm gonna do that. So Thrombone, if they watch on Twitch's mobile version, they do not immediately see the stream's title, right? Yeah, but the problem isn't that I put the game name in the title. I write it on the screen. I do this. Ready? I use this text. Hold on. Go. I do it like this. And I'll be in the bottom right corner. And I put it on the screen next to me. Next to me. So I do it like that. And then they still don't. They're like, what game is this? And I'm like, brother, it's right next to me. It's so stupid, man. It's so stupid. They always do. They always do. Every time. Yeah, and they still ask. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're guilty of asking a question and just not seeing the message. It's not always new people, it's regulars too sometimes. They come in and I'm like, you should know better. Someone with a year-long sub asks what game this is while it's pinned on the screen. I'm like, how dare you? The worst is when the regulars do it, man. Oh, I was watching someone yesterday with Do Not Help taking up like a third of the screen. Guess how many people put help in the chat? I know. I tell friends when they play certain games, emote only jail. And then you write on the screen, chat in emote only mode because you motherfuckers can't stop typing fucking spoilers or whatever it is, you know? Even then you'll still have people be like, I'll just leave because I'm only here to type how to play the game. That's just how it goes, man. It's funny, though. It's just funny. Anyway, speaking of games, let's play Mafia. It's time. It's time. We're gonna do it. Hold on. Let me get it open. We're gonna continue Mafia. I've been really liking it. If I can get all the games to work on the stream, turn off maybe GM. Because some people said the second game was being a little weird for them. If I can get all of them to work, then we're playing all of them.